Well, the governor's race is heating up. It always does this time of year, particularly the race on the Republican side. That's really where the race is. Stephen Poizner and Meg Whitman. And if the election was today, who would you want to see face off against Democrat Jerry Brown?
We asked some of our viewers, and Eugene Brill, the managing director of Emerging Media Analytics, is here with more on that. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
Now, a field poll came out last week, I believe, and it was a statewide poll asking the question of who Californians prefer on the Republican side for governor. What did you find?
Well, let's take a look at the field poll first. There we got it right there. This happened on Wednesday, March 17th, and Meg Whitman 63%. That was in January, is only 45, and you see Stephen Poizner's numbers there, very, very small. So the bottom line is that Meg Whitman, according to the field poll, was way out ahead among likely voters, but that is statewide. You guys are looking at San Diego.
That's right. We were very excited when KUSI approached us and asked us to do a local poll, pretty much asking that exact same question. So what we did was a couple of us got together and we went to our Twitter and LinkedIn connections and just on a local scale sent this poll out there to see what we could find. And it was interesting that it wasn't very long before this poll became very viral. Now, by viral is social media talk for, it's a pass-along message from one guy to the next to the next. Even last night on the Rick Amato show, he came out and he said that he saw this on his Twitter account, ran with it, and this thing just snowballed.
So, well, show us what the results are.
Here we go. 10% of the people that voted for neither. So I would assume that those are the Democrats. Steve Poizner at 36%, and Meg Whitman came at 54%.
So it's tightened a little bit here in San Diego.
It's definitely tightened up a little bit. This is similar along the lines that we've seen in some of the other polls.
Right, the field poll, that's kind of what the field poll shows, but your poll shows something, it shows a little bit that Steve Poizner is making some ground, at least in San Diego.
Absolutely, it does look like that, and this came after the discussions that they had yesterday, so this was fresh on the minds of people, and maybe he swayed some people in the final moments.
Sure. Now, some of the big issues that Californians will determine how they vote come election time is jobs. Jobs are huge, taxes are huge, and of course, getting a handle on the budget is also huge for Californians. When you compare these two candidates, Steve Poizner and Meg Whitman, what are you seeing?
I believe, and I'm not an analyst, I leave that to you as the experts, but it definitely looks like Meg Whitman's business background and her background running eBay is definitely coming to the forefront, where people are looking at her as a business person taking control of the state, and maybe that's what they're looking for.
As someone who does polling, it's interesting to me too. You said it went viral. You said that this thing, in a sense, mushroomed on places like Facebook and Twitter, and that are the people who use social media. Do they have different political, influences than people who don't?
Well, you bring up a very interesting point there, because what we did yesterday is 3 of the guys in the office went to their connections. So these are not people that are affiliated to any political party. They are not male or female. Well, you'll hope they're either one of the two, but they don't fall into a specific age group. This is just friends of friends. So they came back with a very broad range, and there was definitely a push towards Meg Whitman in this. So it's definitely, there's something there.
It was interesting in the last presidential poll, there was a huge surge of young voters that went to the polls and resulted in the election of Barack Obama. Do you see more young people are obviously involved in social media than older people? Do you see an insurgence maybe that could be happening in this election in California with young voters?
It's an interesting statistic. The fastest growing demographic on Facebook is the age group between 25 and 45. Facebook is now the 4th largest country in the world.
It's not just teenagers.
It's not just teenagers anymore. Everybody is getting involved.
Great.
Interesting.
Well, David, thank you so much for being here.
Eugene Brill, Managing Director of Emerging Media Analytics. Appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you very much.
Fascinating poll.
All right.